Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's Sunday night. We're back at it again. Another episode of Keeping It Orange and Blue. I'm Ryan Schroet. As always, Kevin Deuce on the loose. What's up, Kevin?
What's up, Ryan? Hey, man, it is game week, dude. We are literally 5 days away from fighting Illini football. I am so pumped and so excited. The most anticipated season in, 35 years. I know there's probably been some other ones out there that have sat out there. I know a couple of years ago, you truly picked the 10-2, but looking back on it, that was probably a pretty dumb thing. I am just thrilled to get the season started, and we'll see where we're going from there. So.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in total agreement. I think the fans are bought in, right? The students are bought in.
Yeah, absolutely. The place is gonna be rocking, I think.
It's gonna be sold. Even for Western Illinois, it'd be fun to see how loud it could get. And it's gonna be beautiful weather too. So it's gonna be like a high of 80 that day, but like 56 below, and then by the time that game's at halftime, it'll probably be in the mid 70s, low 70s, right? So it'll be a beautiful night. Excited to get there. Just excited to have college football back. I think, the week 0 games were kind of, don't get me wrong, the Kansas State-Iowa State game had some intrigue, but it was just kind of just sloppy, bad football.
Hey, man, Idaho State catching 30.5 against UNLV was like printing free money, so your boy liked that one, so that's pretty cool.
And we are going to be starting Fade the Deuce this. We're going to be starting Fade the Deuce this week, right, Kev?
Yeah, absolutely. That one jumped off the page to me. UNLV lost their entire team basically to Purdue or the transfer portal. They have an entire new coaching staff with Dan Mullen, and they were a 30.5-point favorite to a college football team. Doesn't make any sense to me. They were fighting for their lives. That game was kind of fun. But yeah, let's be real here. This is when the real stuff meets the road. Not only do we have Illinois, which I'm so glad we're playing Friday night. I know some folks who have high school kids who are playing high school football and have high school obligations on Friday night. That doesn't work well for us. However, we get to watch LSU and Clemson, Notre Dame and Miami.
What's up, Double Jason? What's up, Sean? What's up, Tony?
Texas, Ohio State. We get to watch all those games and not have to worry about what's
exactly.
So that's the exciting part for me of why playing Friday night is pretty cool. So
yeah, the USC game time is an interesting one. I think depending on if both are 4-0. I know there's some big games that week, but I think
2:30 at the worst, probably.
Yeah, 2:30.
You get 2:30 game for sure.
They've already got some games. The night game that week is going to be Oregon Penn State. I think I've already looked that up on NBC. That doesn't mean it couldn't be the big noon kickoff game.
It could be.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be honest, and I'm kind of disappointed. I've got a really close source, just from all our time with the college huddle and other places who've. With all these schools, I have a close Indiana source about their football program, and they're telling me that they think that's going to be a noon kick for Indiana. So, I'm just kind of bummed about it. It's not going to be a night game.
For Illinois at Indiana?
Yeah, Illinois at Indiana.
Perfect. You don't want that to be a night game.
Yeah, I know. I mean, just the atmosphere of the game.
Don't care. We want that dub. Playing at night's a different animal.
Just letting everybody know, if you are interested, I'm hearing from some trusted people inside that Indiana program. They've already kind of gotten word that it's going to be around noon, the noon kickoff.
Yeah, Fox is going to want that for big noon kickoff, right? That is the big. I listened to the Eyes on Big Ten podcast this week. They picked all the games they wanted to go to for the year. You can only go see the same team twice. You can only go to one stadium once or something like that. They chose Illinois, and they all chose Illinois and Indiana that week. It will be a premier game. Big noon kickoff takes that. That puts that at 11 o'clock kick, noon Eastern. I'm sorry, as an Illinois fan, you really don't want that game under the lights. I get what you're saying, Ryan, for the program appeal, but to win that game, playing at 11 is huge.
Okay, I mean, I get that too. I know. It's just, man, it's just fun to, especially too, gives you a little bit, driving over to get to Bloomington and get there by 3:30 in the afternoon, or 2 instead of having to get there, I really want to go. So yeah. I remember, Kev, you haven't decided yet. You might go, right?
I'm not going to make that game.
Okay,
I'll be, I'll be in Chicago for that one. I'm going to the Bears-Cowboys game the next day. So
yeah, but I'll see it for Northwestern. It'll be all right. And Ohio State.
And if you come up to Madison, I'll see you in Wisconsin.
Okay. All right. So we'll get to it. Appreciate everybody on here. Sean, I
can tell you Jason said he can't wait to make some money by fading Matt.
Yeah, that's right. Whatever Matt picks, go the other way. So Sean, I think the Cowboys will give in and sign Micah Parsons. I think, they'll probably overpay for him, but that's
hopefully in week 4 after the Bears beat them.
Yeah. So let's jump into it, you guys. All Illini diehards here. If you're watching right now, it's Western Illinois is the opponent. I can tell you this: they've had a rough last 3 or 4 years. They've been a really bad FCS team. I think they got their first win last year. Snapped an 0 for skid for a couple seasons against McKendree. I think I know that they put up some points in a couple games last year against some quality opponents, but their defense was just terrible, just awful. And it is going to be an outmatched unit. I mean, it is what it is. We're going to talk about some things we want to see, 3 things we each want to see in the game, but overall covering the game. And Illinois is a 45.5 right point favorite, Kev.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
So think about this. I think Illinois was what? Against Eastern last year, they were
28.5 or something.
28.5, and Illinois won 45-0 and could have won probably 50.
It might have been more than that. I mean, I have it in Fade the Deuce. I'd have to go look at the. I'd have to go look.
But I mean, and Eastern is a better program than Western, but Eastern did not have a really good year last year. But I'll be shocked, Kev, if Illinois doesn't put 50-some plus up, and by the third quarter, and they've got maybe Carson Boyd in there to play the whole fourth quarter. Something like that.
Ryan, I mean, we'll get into more about what we want to see and where we want this team to go. But I'll start with one of the 3 things that I really want to see from this game is I don't want to see us to have to rely on the starters at all in the second half. I would like to see the second team get a majority of the third quarter snaps. And then I'd like to see, just like what you said, I'd like to see Carson Boyd potentially play in the fourth quarter, and just and see what we have there. Get Sabor Kareem a lot of reps. Get Daniel Brown a bunch of reps. See what he can do, and maybe they want to keep him under wraps. But that's that's the number one thing for me is to come out of this game with health and see a lot of the second and third teamers play most of the second half.
Yep. Oh yeah, no doubt. I mean, we'll delve deep into that here in a minute. I just was thinking off the top, this is a mismatch. It's a big time mismatch, and I think maybe go ahead, Kev.
I'm scrolling their defensive line on the Western's website for their roster. Their defensive line is 245, 240, 245, 285, 285, 230, 250, 230. There's 310. There's 230. There's 305, 240. Our offensive line goes 312 average pounds or something like that. I mean, we start 3 offensive linemen that are 335 pounds. Melvin Priestley is the 4th heaviest offensive lineman at 310. So it's just Illinois needs to really wear them down up front and run the ball with some consistency. Yes, Ethan Hampton most likely is the backup. We're talking about seeing some third team. Maybe it's Trey Petty to keep Carson Boyd's red shirt fresh. Who knows? But we'd like to see that third quarterback potentially play in the fourth quarter. So
yes. And you better take up SDR, Kev. You go to Vegas quite a bit.
I know, but I'm going to Chicago the week before. I would do that, man. At the D, I like the D, man. The D's fun. We can walk down the streets of the Circa. Yeah, let's do that.
If you've got comps, I think he could probably hook you up anytime. If that's what he's saying.
I'm not holler at my boy. Man. I don't have no idea who he is. He's incognito, but
Yeah, St. Dominic Rosary, you're going to give up your real info here. So, yeah, and I get Hampton, but I'm going to be honest. How many reps does Hampton need? Probably not a lot, but I'd like to see a guy like Boyd get some reps. Because remember, he can play in 4 games either way and keep his red shirt.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, technically you could give Petty 4 other games, So
Petty's already had his red shirt, so
yeah, true. But now let's see. With it sounds like it's going to be, if the game is sold out, I know it's a Friday night. I'll be shocked if it's 60,000. I think we'll probably be 55 to 58 show up. It's Friday night. Not everybody who bought tickets is going to be able to go to it, especially if these season ticket holders have kids that are, let's just say a couple thousand of them have kids that have Friday night games and stuff. You just got to kind of piece that together. So I'm not expecting it to be completely full, but I'm expecting a pretty big, pretty fun crowd. I'm interested to see the new renovations they've added to it with the concessions and just making it a lot easier game experience. I think that was something we had been talking about over the past couple of years. And just looking around, I know money's always a big thing. It's interested to see when they're going to start trying to take up the horseshoe and expand that, because bring it closer to the field. Bring it closer. You saw what Kansas did.
Yeah, it looks great.
And I'm thinking just to that area, bring it in. Yeah. I think that wouldn't even have to be a whole Illinois could still play there if they're renovating the horseshoe.
Well, I agree. One of the things I think you need to look out for is that Western has some players, right? So when I pulled up the predictions for the Ohio Valley Conference, which they play in, they're picked to finish 5th behind Lindenwood. So I don't know what that matters. Their starting quarterback is a guy by the name of Chris Urban. He's on one of the OVC's preseason players to watch. Now, granted, they put 5 guys on there in a 9-team conference, so they're taking just about every proven starting quarterback there. They got a nice little running back, Markel Holman. I think he's a pretty small, little shifty guy, but he had a pretty decent season last year, if I recall correctly. So they've got guys mentioned in just about every category on the OVC prep list. But like you said, Ryan, they haven't done much. They've been a bad football team, but they were one of the worst college football teams around a couple of years ago. I don't know how that changes this year. So, as a junior, Irvin played 7 games, completed 17 passes and threw 3 touchdowns. And he's a transfer from Ventura College, but he originally went to Washington State. So the guy's got some skills and some ability. He was recruited to play there. That'll be interesting. But I think Illinois for me, I'll get back to another thing that I really want to see as I'm getting off track a little bit, is I want to see Illinois really hold the run game down. Markel Holman, 6'1", 205, got some decent size to him. Had 577 yards last year rushing for St. Francis, 6 touchdowns. I want to see Illinois completely shut down their running game. I want less than 50 yards rushing. I want less than 3 yards per carry to be held out, and that's going to be critical for me to look at the long-term projections of where this team's going to go. We think the defensive line's improved with the additions of the Wisconsin transfers and Durajai and others, as well as the growth of Angelo McCollum, Jeremiah Warren. Pat Barrow's been really impressing. So I want to be able to see our defensive line hold the point of attack, put Western Illinois in a lot of third and long situations, unleash some of our packages. We probably won't show much, but unleash some personnel packages to get after the quarterback there, and see what we can do there and force them into some turnovers. But that's critical for me. I want to hold them under 50 yards rushing.
Yeah, I think those are very attainable feats, and I think would be great to see. But before I jump into some of the 3 things I want to see, Kev, like I said, just to put a bow on the actual finish of the game of I'm thinking Illinois wins this game, maybe something like 52-3. It could be 55-7. I think they're going to cover. I'm just
55-7 actually popped in my head, and so I changed it. I went 59-7. I did 8 touchdowns and a field goal. It'd be great. I don't know. Actually, I want to shut out. I don't want to let them score. I'm going to say 59 now.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I think because Illinois shut out Eastern last year too. So,
and I think Illinois is better than this team, and I think Eastern's worse than Western.
Okay. All right. Now, one of the 3 things that I want to see from Illinois is, we say I'm guaranteed they're going to establish the run. So I don't really want to see that because I know it's going to happen. But I want to see them get show the fans or show us that we're like, oh man, they're the wide receiver core needs people need to step up, and it sounds like Beatty and Dixon are the two that have already done that, and they've asserted themselves right here, and everybody else is kind of trying to work their way up. Elsie dealing with hamstring issues and some confidence issues. Clements really not having any spring ball, and I guess still figuring the playbook out. Bowick adjusting. Hollins is a guy I think could be a guy who's done it before. I think he's not going to have to worry about the playbook. I think it was more of his confidence with his injury from last year.
But ACJ is really impressed in camp too.
Yeah. Sorry, you said ACJ.
Alex Cappa-Jones.
Yes. Alex Cappa. I think Alex
Cappa probably start. I
think Alex Cappa-Jones could be that next guy that's like, look, he's not going to blaze by you, but he's a sure-handed guy like over the middle that you could rely on with his size, his length, his hands. I think that could be a good one too. But just seeing guys like that, Hollins and him have the same type of build as well. But anyway, the point is I want to see how well the wide receiver core comes in confidence-wise, makes plays, because we know Illinois is going to be able to dominate in the trenches. So I want to see how well these receivers can create separation and go out there and make some plays, because they're going to be open. Western's going to be committing a bunch up into the box. They're going to have to. So that should leave guys one-on-one. And I want to see Cole Rusk. I want to see how he's doing out there. Does he look like just the guy that everybody was hyping up last year before his injury?
Right. He's like a Colson Loveland light. I don't want to compare him to a first-round draft pick, but that's kind of like the style of play for him. And so you'd like to see him maybe get loose with the ball in hand in space kind of deal, or a little bit vertical even. Get him matched up on these FCS linebackers and go to work. I agree with you, Ryan. I think one of the things that Illinois, I think that there's a level of Illinois is going to put some vanilla stuff on tape, as you don't want to show for too much for Duke. By the way, Duke plays Friday night as well, I believe.
Hold on. I thought they played I think they played Thursday.
They might play Thursday. I know they don't play Saturday. But what I think you can put on tape that can change things is, I don't care who you are. You're playing a Brett Bielema based team. You understand you need to stop the run. So Duke's going to be geared up to stop the run. If we can open up some vertical passing opportunities for those big wide receivers, Bowick, Capca-Jones, Elsie, and take the top off a little bit, let Luke throw the ball deep a little bit early on, get that fear in the hearts of some other teams, I think that will really help going forward. So,
Yep. Let me see here what some comments. Nathan Durst says passes to the running back as well out of the backfield.
He like tight ends too. I agree with him. I'd really like to see them get the ball to our running backs in space and our tight ends.
Yep. Tanner Arkin touchdown, over or under. I'm saying over.
I think he gets one. I think he might get the first TD of the year, a little 3-yard play action rollout.
Yeah. I think, let's see, one other thing I want to see. I want to see how the new look defensive line, James Thompson, Curtis Neal, all these other guys, how well they can dominate and just assert themselves. The moment they put on that helmet and play in front of the fans here. So, I want to see, is the hype real with these guys? Is Daniel Brown going to show up right away? Is Kenenina Odeluga going to look like the guy we were seeing a couple of years ago, who really at the end of last year had shown out to where we were like, man, I remember this guy. Those are a couple of things I want to see as well, because when you're not hearing much from the defensive line, usually that means they're not getting much pressure and they're not really creating havoc back there. So that's kind of what I want to see. I'm expecting Gabe Akis to make plays, but I want to see how well that interior defensive line is doing, James Thompson and Curtis Neal and those guys.
Yeah, and the growth of guys like Jaheim Clark, who's been really impressing. I mean, he's pushing Torrey Cox hard for a starting position at the other cornerback spot. Caleb Patterson's pretty entrenched. Jaheim Clark's bigger, so that's more advantageous for Illinois when they get into the Big Ten season. You're going to be facing bigger wide receivers. The other thing about Illinois, like I briefly touched on it a bit with the offensive line, is Illinois is really big, right? If Illinois started these three wide receivers, I don't think anybody would be surprised. And wide receiver is the biggest. Like, who are the first couple guys that are going to come out on the field? But if Illinois started Colin Dixon, Malik Elzy, Hudson Clement, that means that we wouldn't start a single offensive player under 200 pounds. And then when you look at the size of our defense, man, our defense is really big too. Like our DBs, our safeties have good size on them. Matt Bailey's obviously a big guy. I want to see Illinois be super physical. I mean, like, I'm not trying to be disrespectful to the Leathernecks here. Respect my Illinois brethren here, but I want to see us knock the piss out of these guys. I want it to be such an overwhelmingly physically dominant team that it pops off the screen. That everybody says, "Holy shit!" That Illinois comes down like a rabid dogs. And you remember we saw that with the 2022 team early on at Indiana. That was the game where Spoon obliterated the running back. Probably should have been a fumble. Would have changed the game. A Hightower catch that wasn't right. Like, that's where I want to see Illinois be physical like that at the point of attack, to the point that people say, oh, this is different. And I think they are different. I think Illinois, you talk about 46 guys or whatever ran 20 miles an hour or over, and then you talk about the size of this team is fast. I want that to pop off the screen. Yes, Sleeve, I know they're not good, but I want to be able to just like see it. Like they don't belong on the same field with us. And Illinois we beat down Easter, but we haven't done that much in the past few years, right?
Yeah.
Even what was it, Chattanooga? We beat them like 33-0 or something like that.
Yeah, we beat them down pretty good. They were actually a really good FCS team. That's the difference.
They were, but it was still like it was.
Yeah, but remember, Illinois beat down Michigan State at home last year. I mean, they beat down Northwestern. Illinois was beaten down, laid the smack down.
Northwestern moved the ball on us far too effectively for me to say that. That was a terrible offense.
When you look at the end of the score,
I was talking to Aaron today. I'll call him right now. He was not proud of the performance against Northwestern. Some individuals, yes, but overall as a group, and he was not happy with that performance. So,
all right, but the Michigan State game, you'd agree, though.
Yeah, it took a while, but yes.
Yeah, okay.
Was that 38-17?
Yeah, something like that. And even though the score really could have been a lot worse, I think Illinois dominated Michigan. So
they did. They absolutely controlled the line of attack for the most part, ran the ball effectively. We didn't throw the ball very well that game. So,
but if you think, you just think about too, it's like they really had one real good chance to score. They did, but Illinois was turning them over, and then they had the pick at the end of the game from Tuttle with Matt Bailey. But anyway. That's good. You had Aaron. You should have had Aaron on the phone. Come on, man. Join the pod, right?
My man is too busy. We were just talking via text today. I texted him a couple weeks ago after I saw his interview on the Big Ten camp thing. Yeah. And I think if you look at Aaron in front of the microphone 2 years ago to now, he's grown a ton. I told him that, and he sent me a note like, "Hey, man, I'm so sorry it's taken me so long to get back to you." My point to him was just like, "Hey, dude, your priority right now is family and football. I hope it's in that order. So every minute that you get with your family, spend that there." But yeah, no, I talked to Aaron after the Northwestern game. He wasn't happy with that performance. This is all I'm saying. So it's this. I want to see some. I want to see some dominance. I want to see some dogs. I want to see some guys flying around, hyped up, and I think they will. I'd really like to see 300 yards rushing, plus. I'd like to see a couple backs get over 100 yards, and I'd like to limit Fagan's carries if possible.
You know what? I'm going to go special teams here. I want to see Crimmins and how effective he can be with that. And if he's used much, maybe once or twice, I'm expecting, how well is he hitting the ball inside the 20? Is he, going to put Illinois in advantageous defensive positions? I think Alano is a guy that we already trust. We feel good about. But Crimmins coming in to play for this program, a winning program coming off of last year where he was at Purdue. I think different situations, an expectation. I think Illinois had some pretty good punting in the past. Robertson was not as good last year as we would have liked for him to be, but he was better the year before, and then we had Hayes, who was a really good punter. So I think Crimmins can this is how Bielema. The thing is, for Illinois to be as effective as they can be to be a 10, 11 win team, they have special teams has to be a plus for them.
Yeah, absolutely. When you look at games at Duke, at Indiana, USC, Ohio State, at Washington, potentially at Wisconsin, those are games that could be in those single score opportunities. How we flip the field and win the field position battle will be huge. And can we go out there and kick a 50-yard field goal if we need to? I have confidence that this year's special teams from the kicking side of things will be better than they were a year ago. I think the kick coverage units a year ago were really good. I think the punt return game was phenomenal. I think the kick return game is almost non-existent under Bielema. I think he doesn't care. I think he's willing to take the ball to 20 or 25 or whatever and call it a day. So I'm with you, Ryan. I think that we made a huge upgrade at punter. I think Alano getting older, stronger leg, and you got a guy like Osada to back him up or potentially be the kickoff guy. Osada can punt and place kick. So we've got solid backup there in case, God forbid, one of them gets injured. Frankly, for when I look at special teams, Hank Beatty doesn't need to return a punt against Western Illinois. We know what he can do. Wave the hand, catch the ball, call it a day. That's it. Move on.
It'd be a good chance too in the second half to have other people return to give them a chance to see what they could do,
And speaking of which, like other people, what they could do, I wouldn't be surprised if we see some Khalil Valentine unleashed, right? So,
yeah, there we go. Yeah.
Hey, Sleeve Nash asked this. Illinois' two starting corners will be it's going to be Caleb Patterson at one, and then Jaheim Clark or Torrey Cox at the other one. Jaheim Clark is fairly new to football, started probably playing football as a sophomore in high school, if I recall correctly. Bigger, longer athlete, really pops. Like he is a guy that they think can come and do like the Devon Witherspoon track, but not quite to the same level. They're really high on him. And I think they'd like to see a longer corner for Big Ten play, specifically like when we play.
I mean, it's going to be hard to keep Cox out of there. He's just so.
He is.
He's going to be a great nickel back for sure.
But what you can do is you can play them all and you can play them fresh, right? Xavier could certainly get out there and take a corner spot if need be. If we're going to play in a base with four DBs, right? If we're playing four DBs, Xavier Cox is getting Xavier Scott is getting out on one corner. So,
well, that's what I was saying. We're saying who are the starting DBs? So where is Xavier Scott playing right now?
He's the nickel. He's the star.
Okay.
But I'm telling you, if there's four defensive backs on the field, he's one of them. I'm sorry, that's just and maybe it's
I just still think it's going to be hard to have Torrey Cox come back this year and be like, yeah, hey, dude, you're off on the bench. I mean, he was so
I don't think that's going to happen. But what I think will happen is these guys are going to rotate and play a ton. Okay. I think they're going to be fresh, dude. Illinois is in a certain situation now where, let's say they throw a 50-yard bomb down the field and Torrey Cox or Jaheim Clark are step for step with the receiver and the ball goes thrown out of bounds, underthrown, whatever. It's incomplete pass. Boom, come off the field. Rotate the next guy in. We're good.
What's up, Reese? Big Thirsty. What's happening? Noizovich. What's happening?
Nate Durst, I don't know that the starters are set. I'm going to put out a projected what my two deep is probably here shortly. I might do it on 200 columns. I might do it on Twitter, a little bit of combination of the two, because one of the things I want you guys to understand is how big this team is. And I'll do some comps for some other teams. I was
going to say, Kev, we got to get an article from you before the first game Friday.
Yeah, maybe I'll do that. So we'll see.
Yeah.
I want to answer Sean Garner's question because I love Sean. He's probably is if he's not the most loyal, he's in the top three. Sean, my guess for who Illinois' starting quarterback is next season is, first of all, wait till next season. Let's get through this one unbelievable, wonderful.
Let's enjoy this year. I know. Yeah.
But my guess is he's not on the roster. Okay. My guess is Illinois' starting quarterback is playing at a group of six school, and it will be a transfer portal guy, if not playing at a Power 4 school for some other team that's not, a borderline bowl team in the SEC or Big 12 or whatever. That's my guess is that we're going to get a transfer portal guy.
Yeah, that's very, very likely. And then that probably a 1-year guy, right? If you have Michael Clayton coming in, and then you got Carson Boyd. I think by the time Michael Clayton is either a redshirt freshman or a true sophomore, man, he'll be ready to be the guy.
I know we're biased because we spoke to him, but I mean, they do really love Carson Boyd. So
yeah, and that's another great point. Is I am going to mention a little injury tidbits here as we wrap the episode up in the next 10-15 minutes, but I will mention that Malik Elzy has all the talent and the tools to go be an all Big Ten kind of receiver. So as I mentioned earlier, he'd been dealing with some hamstring stuff through this.
I thought that cleared up.
Yeah, but still that has struggled with that has kind of bothered him up here. Mentally he'd had some issues, and I've heard of drop issues. Again, I can't tell you sitting here for over the last week, but I do know during the August camp that there were some issues. But I think it'd be hard to keep him out of the lineup. I'd be shocked if he's not in the the top 3, top 4, where he's in there playing a whole bunch, even with Alex Kapka-Jones. I do love Carson Boyd, by the way, but I'm just saying, when you got Boyd and you got Michael Clayton, that's a lot of talent. And then 2027, Camden Lapati's got, man, I'm just telling you, there's going to be a fun quarterback battle in Champaign.
Sleeve Nash, talking about Hank Beatty. Hank Beatty made a lot of great. He had a big play.
Him and Hank Beatty and Colin Dixon are 1 and 2. They're the top 2 wideouts who they're for sure going to be playing a whole bunch.
Here's the challenge for me on that is, like, you look at this wide receiver room and you look at the depth of it and you look at the skill set and you look at the talent. Here's what I think is going to happen. This isn't a knock on the coaching staff and this isn't a knock on the guys. If Illinois starts, from what I'm hearing, Alex Kapka-Jones, Hank Beatty, Colin Dixon, I love all 3 guys. I talked to Alex Kapka-Jones after the Citrus Bowl. What a great young man. I think the world of him. Obviously think the world of Hank Beatty, all the things he's done. And I'm a huge fan of Colin Dixon. I think Colin Dixon could be so dynamic, run after the catch, and he's an unbelievable blocker. But when you look at the depth of that wide receiver room, if we're going to start 3 guys who couldn't break a 4.6 40, when you've got guys like Malik Elzy, Justin Bowick, Mario Sanders, Ashton Hollins, Hudson Clement, like there are just guys out there that have more overall athletic ability, in my opinion, that I think you might see a transgression as the season goes on. Like, maybe Hudson Clement isn't the guy to start the season, but I think he will be. Maybe Justin Bowick isn't the deep threat come Friday night, but I think he will become that. I think that there's talent there that once these guys get more acclimated and comfortable, that will start to acquiesce and move into that role. So.
Oh yeah, I agree with all those points. I think guys are not just gonna necessarily be, especially too with Illinois is gonna have 2 bye weeks, and I think even though that's the first bye weeks after Ohio State, tons can get done after that, and Bielema's really good at resetting things that they maybe need to work on and adjust and change philosophy or a little bit of their strategy or game plans with how they call the offense, what they're actually calling after bye weeks. So that's time when you can make adjustments to, like, get this guy some extra reps, right? Or put him in different skill packages that he hadn't been in. So
Anthony Winfield mentioned Petty will transfer. I think that's a very real possibility in this college football world that we live in. And I think the world of Trey, I thought the world of him as a prospect. I think things are just changing. If Carson Boyd's passing him on the depth chart as a true freshman, you've got to see where the number lies, because Carson Boyd's going to get pushed next year by Michael Clayton. And then both those guys are going to get pushed by Camden Lapati. So that's just what you're going to have to deal with. I think our guy Outlaws, Western Kentucky Outlaws, said keep recruiting Big Ten quality talent at QB. That's what you have to do, and just figure it out. Hey, SDR, I'm with you, dude. I love Dylan Rosiak. I have questions about his overall athleticism. I think that's another guy that might get passed up by the end of the year with Malachi Hood. That's just my thoughts. I hope I'm wrong.
What's amazing, though, Kev, is that think about the depth they've got there, though.
Yeah, right?
You're like, hey, they've got a guy that's going to be better than him here by the end of the year,
And they got a guy who's a true freshman who's going to be better than all of them.
Yeah.
And Grant Bierman. I mean, like, the dude is The dude is an NFL talent. I know that Bielema was on the socials and the interviews recently saying, "Hey, listen, we would like to protect his red shirt, but I don't know if you get 4 years out of that guy." So, however, I do know this, man. We had Grant on the show. He's a great kid. I've had the pleasure of talking with his dad online. He's a well-educated. He comes from a really I don't know that he needs to jump for NFL money. That's not going to be a thing for him. So maybe he wants to stay 4 years and get his education. But that dude has NFL talent written all over him.
And guess who's going to be following him next year? His teammate Cam Thomas.
Amen, dude.
Yeah,
I think Altmaier will make a roster spot in the NFL. I have questions about his overall arm strength at his size to be an NFL quarterback.
I got a hot take for you, Sean. I think he's going to go between the 5th and 7th round this year.
I would agree with that.
There you go. I think he's getting drafted. So,
no, you just posted something on what's up with this, Ryan? Tell me more.
Yeah. So, as people, there's been a little bit of stuff on social media over the last couple of weeks. I've been having a couple of people message me, one who I trust very much, and then so I always go check with my people around the program. And so, they told me that, hey, J.C. Davis injury could be something that lingers a little bit. J.C. Davis has plantar fasciitis.
Plantar fasciitis, yeah, I have it in both feet. It doesn't go away.
Yeah, so for people to know, yeah, he's going to have something that's going to linger. But it sounds like they're going to get a scan Tuesday just to double check that there's no fracture or anything in there. But as long as that goes well, which they're not expecting it to see a fracture, that he's probably not playing against Western. No need to really play him against the Leathernecks, but it sounds like he'll be good to go for Duke. So I just
you're saying you think he doesn't play against Western?
I'm saying I would be surprised if he does, because they're wanting to rest him as much as they can with the plantar fasciitis, however you say it.
Yeah.
Which, if they think it's been a little bit not in a great spot, like sometimes it flares up some. I've heard it's kind of flared up a little bit of late. Like he didn't practice.
It flares up. It is what it is. Listen, I played basketball on it in a men's league. Like that's not nearly the same as playing Division I college football. It's one of those things you can play through and try and tough it out. It just sucks. It just hurts. It just hurts a whole hell of a lot. So
yeah. So it just sounds like, especially with them getting a scan Tuesday of it, he'd set out some practices that just I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't play until Duke. So if he's not in the lineup against Western, I just want to kind of go ahead and say this now for fans who watch the show to be like, okay.
Well, who's the starting left tackle if he's out, Ryan?
Yeah, that's a good one. I know they've been
Booster.
Yeah, it could be. It could be. Where do you put I mean, what if Brandon Henderson, moves? And I know they had depth. They had to go. Who was pushing him, Kev?
Hanson.
Yeah. So what if you have Hanson there and then move Henderson over for this game against Western?
Yeah,
you could do that.
I think they want to protect Kanapk's red shirt too. So it's Aiden, not Ethan necessarily.
We're talking about speed doesn't mean anything if I can't catch. I'm trying to think.
I was talking about the wide receivers that can't run a 4.6. He's talking about Malik Elzy. Let's be real here. Malik Elzy has the drops problem, so that's the real thing. So
okay. What's wild is though in the games last year he didn't really have drop problem issues. You know what I mean?
Sometimes guys are gamers. So
yeah, like that. I think you take a risk on a guy like that and say his freshman year he did though. I remember, but last year he didn't.
So I'd like to see him throwing out there for a screen and just see where he let him rip. So
that's right. Let's do real quick. Watch out this season. I'm calling it here. Dylan Rosiak, Mac Rasetich, Matthew Bailey, Grant Special. He's going to be a monster. Best linebacker since Kevin Hardy and Dana Howard.
Listen, you say Dominic, you didn't even have to pay any money for Ryan to say that. How nice is that?
Yeah.
No $10 super chat for this bullshit.
Yeah. One day we're gonna get that, you guys. Hey, everybody, you guys know.
I will never do that. No. You'll have to get begging on because I'm not doing any super chat BS. Don't pay me to read your comment, dude. If your comment makes sense, I'll say it.
Yep. But with that said, Kev, we'll get to So final thoughts here. I think we've gone 40 minutes here, almost at 10 o'clock Central Time. I'll let you lead off here. I think this has been a fun episode. Again, you subscribe, you people on YouTube if you haven't. Anybody else who has a YouTube channel that loves the Illini info and football, basketball, send them our way. We appreciate the subscription or the follow for free.
I got two things, Ryan. First one kind of falls in line with a lot of things that I said before home games last year. This one's a little different, is get your butt to the Western game. If you want to attend an Illinois football game this year, there are still good seats that are going for single-digit dollars. Like you can be in the East Balcony where my season tickets are about the 50-yard line for $7. By the way, TickPick, no fees. TickPick, hear me out. Pay me to say this. TickPick, no fees, guys. TickPick, no fees. TickPick, no fees. Heard it again. Guys, just do that. So
I'm gonna work on getting them as a sponsor, huh?
Right? Yes. TickPick. I love them. I bought tickets to Cubs games to see them. I bought tickets to the Women's College World Series. If it says it's $8 and you're buying 3 tickets, it costs you $24. It's what amazing concept. So there are no fees baked into it, so you can easily do the calculations. I hate getting to the checkout and then all of a sudden you bought 3 tickets for $50. The next thing you do, you're paying $225 because you got all the fees. So none of that's there. All right. So if you want to attend an Illinois football game, this is the one to go to, because after this, maybe Western Michigan, but I'm gonna tell you, Western Michigan is like a noon 11 a.m. kickoff. That could in the middle of September in Illinois. That could be a steamy one.
Actually, Kev, it's 6:30 kickoff.
Oh, it's a late game. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah.
So anyway, get your butt to one of those 2 games if you don't have season tickets, because the rest of them are gonna be really hard to get and really expensive. But Brian, I'm probably stealing your thunder on this one.
Go ahead.
Mihailo Petrovic is here. He is here. He has showed up. He is on campus. That's a really good sign for getting the guy I think will be our starting point guard for Brad Underwood on campus, ready to go, ready to play. So,
and now your starting 5 for your fighting. Is Mirkovic, Stojakovic, Petrovic, and your head coach, Brad Underwoodovich. So, yes, it's going to be a fun. Oh, and Kylan. Oh, yeah, sorry. And Kylan Boswell. Gotta get Boswell in there because he's going to be a starter.
Hey, by the way, have you heard anything on Ty Rodgers? That's still tight-lipped, ain't it?
It's all tight-lipped, man, for a good reason. I guess they're just wanting to make everybody worry and wonder. And I think
he's gonna play, man.
I think he's gonna play too. I mean, I hadn't seen it. I mean, I'd seen him standing there with like a knee brace and stuff, not necessarily in crutches. I've been hearing about that. So I think there's a good chance we see him by Christmas, probably. So
and it would be awesome for Ty. I hate it for him more than anything, man.
Yes, no doubt. It's time. I think
he's basketball for 2 years. That would be just brutal.
And he's going to make a lot of money not playing either, because he gets that NIL money too.
Good on him.
Yeah, he's like, I made $800,000 in 2 years and didn't do a damn thing.
Dude, he told me everything I needed to know about his character last year, the way he was a cheerleader on the bench. So, my final thought is we appreciate you. Keep on watching. The show's been fun. We love it, and we're going to be having that big time. We're going to have that tailgate for Ohio State. Again, sponsorship opportunities are always available. I'm going to be messaging TickPick, and I mean that. I think I might reach out and just let them know, like, hey, guys, do us a favor. Anybody on this show that listens tonight, if you buy tickets at TickPick, let me know. We'll tell them about it. Like that if you didn't know about TickPick before I said something, or maybe you heard about them but you weren't sure. If you're going to
heard Kevin talk about it.
If you buy tickets through TickPick, let us know, please. DM us, whatever. So we would love that. So.
No doubt. What's up, Barry?
Stick around. That's the other thing. I don't know what the rev model is or how TickPick makes money, but I appreciate it. I hate hidden fees. All for it. So.
Also, my last thing for final thoughts. Wednesday night sounds like we're going to do Fade the Deuce, right, Kev?
Yeah, we got to get with Matt to figure out which night it is. So
So this week we're fading the deuce. So we appreciate you. Wish we got to see Beerman, but we almost said it's very unlikely.
Might get to see him in 4 games, but I certainly don't think that's going to be Western Illinois if you think that you got a chance in the college football playoff and you think that kid's that good. So.
It could be the Big Ten title game.
Woo!
Whoa, hey now. We already did our prediction last week. So other than that, hey, it's game week. I'll be in Champaign. One of us will always be at the Illini game if it's within 200 miles of Champaign, which Bloomington, Madison, and think about I might even try West Lafayette, damn it.
You should go. Go,
yeah,
man.
I know. Technically, if you look at all Illinois' road games besides Washington,
we travel the fewest miles or the first fewest miles in the Big Ten this
year. Yeah, that's it. So for Swami, this is Oliver, the St. Bernard of my right hand man here. We wish you a very awesome beginning of your week in Illinois, Western Illinois. I'll see you Friday night in Memorial Stadium. Swami out.
ILL.